So, Ashish ji, we can start with the customer experience. We know that customer experience is a pivotal differentiator. Can you elaborate on how customer-centric technology are reshaping the NBFC operations, and what specific advancements have you witnessed in this domain?
Sure. I mean, today if you look at, and like I was saying earlier while we were chatting offline, I think at the end of the day, whether it is NBFC or either of these sectors today, none of them can afford not to be tech oriented. And there's a reason behind it because today's customer, what has changed in last 5 to 7 years, that what a customer used to feel uh, kind of a necessity, uh, feel privileged, has become a necessity. So today, not necessarily a customer does not learn about mobile tech with a home credit app or with any other app. They typically learn about their digital journey starts with a YouTube or a Amazon, or say about ordering a food or things like that, whereas they need it now. And similarly, if you look at these changes have forced all the industries, including NBFCs, to start looking at consumer journeys very differently. If you look at what used to be earlier, and I remember if you were to go to when I took my first education loan, I mean, it was
A lot of documents.
even after couple of weeks, I was feeling, wow, I got it. Finally, I got it. Today, I process more than 30,000 applications every day. Now, that sounds easy, but think about it that while day is 24 hours, most of the business hours are squeezed between, say, about 5 p.m. to about 9 p.m. So, almost 80% of that is getting processed in less than 8 hours. Whereas when I say process means from application to dispersal in less than 30 minutes. And that's the journey which lenders or the industry has taken on its own, all because of there is the consumer's behavior is changing, the consumer expectations are changing, and I think that has forced the industry. Some of them might have done it on their own. A lot of us had to adapt to the new reality.
Technology certainly has helped NBFCs save on a lot of time. Like you mentioned, the onboarding process is digital, then the disbursement is absolutely digital, and it's much more quick and fast. But I feel whenever an NBFC tries to leverage technology, there's a lot of resistance that comes into picture. How, in your experience, have you been able to combat this resistance in your organization, if you can throw some light on?
Sure, Astha, not only NBFC, whenever there is a humans, there is something called as human involved. Resist anything which starts from CHANGE is met with resistance because of, I mean, it's Newton's law. A object in motion or not in motion will remain in its original state till an external pressure is or pressure of friction is involved. So, and but is it people's problem? The fact of the matter is, this is a problem of management, this is a problem of the leadership. We as NBFC, we as leaders sitting in the boardroom, sitting in our cabins, decides about new gizmos, new tools to be introduced. We will spend $1 billion on that new gizmo and tool, but how often do we spend even a fraction of that investment both in terms of money as well as resources, which is time, money, whatever, to the people who are involved with that new change? We won't. We would say, oh, from today you will do like this. And that will met with a resistance because of the origin of resistance is change, and change, basically it's fear. It's fear of people about losing something. Would I be able to do that? Will it help me? The only way I have been able to, and I have been doing, my core role has been around digital transformations. I have been leading digital transformations for small and large enterprises. Okay, I've led for more than 10,000 CR kind of enterprise. The only way you can combat that or you can pre-plan for that resistance is onboarding various people. I mean, there have been times in one of the very large organization, it was a telecommunication organization, whereas the entire recharge used to happen on paper, and when we were doing digital, one of the things which we did was doing workshops with retailers who are not even part of my ecosystem, telling them how they can use digital, a simple mobile SMS to do a recharge, onboarding them that you will not need to, earlier your paper will get washed away in a rain. Now because of it is digital, even if you lose your mobile, you can have a new mobile and your money is safe. It's about figure out what that technology will do to the people who are using that first, not only who are getting impacted outside the organization. And lastly, change starts from top. So a lot of times leaders won't follow the change. And I was giving an example. One of the very funny thing was attendance management system. And there were compliance issue around attendance management system. And then there's this friend who in one of the evening coffee conversations picks up and says, oh, my organization, I don't know what wrong is happening. We have installed attendance management system. Now there is an entire, everybody is up in the arms saying this, that you don't trust in everything. There are trust issues and things like that. Why don't you come over the weekend and, have a look? I was like, okay. And can anybody guess what would have been the problem? Any guesses? If anybody is there, I can't see you guys because of all I see is a white wrapper around me. I think they think I should not be able to see or something. I don't know. Anybody? You need to probably ask if anybody can. Does anybody wants to tell me? Any guesses? What would be the one very big reason why everybody was against the attendance system? Any guesses? It was a card swipe. You go, you swipe the card, and you enter. And there was
because it starts some kind of micromanaging of every hour, every event. But people want it is spread up to do their work and their work. Just evident.
You're right. One biggest reason. You know what happened when I walked in the next time when I walked in the office? So because of he is a friend who owns the organization, and I said, हाँ, मैं आ रहा है. And he's like, अच्छा आ रहा है तो क्या मैं नीचे ही था? चल. And in a typical tone, he was like, let's have a smoke before we get in. I said, yeah. I have also been driving for a while, so let's go out for a smoke. We went out, we smoked, and we got up, came out of the elevator, walked up, and there comes running a guard, and he's like, sir, tak. And the moment he did that, I looked at him, I said, kya? He's like, aap niklo na. And guard is standing there to give us a way. The problem was not monitoring. And I told my friend there that the problem is not people, problem is you. If you won't use it, why would somebody else? Just because of you happen to be a promoter, you happen to be owner, you happen to be director, you want everybody else to change but not you. You do it, everybody else will follow. And I think that's where the change has to start from top. So if you have got a new gizmo, tell people on board, take them along, and then display that you yourself are using it, and it's for the benefit of the organization and for the people. And I think tech then becomes least of the issues.
Very correctly said. Energies do flow from the top, and certainly, whenever there's any radical change that needs to be implemented, they have to be followed at the top layer in the first place. Taking it forward, Ashish ji, there's a
Call me Ashish, please.
okay, Ashish. There's a vast spectrum of technology available with the growing demand and requirement amongst NBFCs. What sort of innovative technology have you implemented in the organization and have truly enhanced customer experiences?
I think one of the biggest things if I were to look at one of the biggest contributions of mine to Home Credit was the customer feedback forum and making customer champions. Okay, and it had got very little tech, but a lot of human tech into that. A lot of times when we think about tech, we typically think about the latest AI, ML, some kind of all these jargons. Okay, Not that I don't think they add value. I certainly think they add a lot of value. But by far the maximum impacting technology is human technology. What we did was we got the NPS, RNPS, and BHT on one single platform, started measurement of the processes impacting customer life, and then made customer champions, which is like anybody can be a customer champion in the organization, and everybody owns customers. When you and we created this called as a consumer champion forum, okay, and whereas everybody can call themselves as a consumer champion because I have a very firm belief that customer is a joint ownership. The biggest disservice a marketer can do to an organization is to say, oh, I am the chief customer officer. The moment you make a CX department, you still will need a team which is purely working on that. But the moment you confine the customer experience to 2 to 3 to 5 people, you have killed the customer experience because of everybody else think this is somebody else's problem. A customer is jointly owned and customer's problem is everybody's problem. A part of that, I think on a tech stack side, we have had multiple different interventions. But I think this is one worthwhile mentioning intervention which we have had.
Considering the constrict in the timings, I'd like to wrap up the session by asking you one final thing. Looking ahead, what do you envision as the future of customer experience in the NBFC sector? And how do you think new technology like blockchain, AI, ML is going to impact this sector? And
Pretty interesting. I wish I had a
how do,
crystal ball to.
in precise, how do you think NBFCs in 2045 are going to look like?
Oh, 2045. I am still waiting for the singularity movement to happen in 2037 so that we don't need to reach till 2045. I am waiting, I am depending on AI. All AI enthusiasts, please ensure we don't reach 2045. But if we do, I think one thing which we need to realize as NBFCs that our final end product has zero differentiation. I mean, your $500 and my $500 are exactly same. The value is same. The entire ecosystem chain value comes in from the experience which you deliver. So the more technology comes in, it brings in three things together. And one need to understand what is the final deliverable of a technology. It brings efficiency, it brings standardization, and it brings transparency. So if you look at these three things from the moment you put that, juxtapose this on the operations of an NBFC, I think the future NBFCs would be much more transparent, which means what has been, your entire value ecosystem need to be transparent. That why am I charging, what am I charging? I used to be in insurance earlier and everybody in insurance used to say, oh, if I tell customer that my claim is this, then they might not buy, till Lemonade came in and said because of they don't pay, so your premium is high. So everybody pays. So which means you need to build trust. So technology which will trust, you will have lot more trustworthy brands. You will have much more transparent ecosystem and you will have on-the-go availability for the consumers to be able to transact, which means not only to consume, but to pay back and but to give feedback, and which will be a 360 degree. Right now, many times, NBFCs can give feedback to consumer in terms of their credit ratings, their whatever we define from the risk profile and cohorts. In future, because of identity is getting into wallets, a consumer will be able to control that and share it only with the lenders he or she trusts. I think that's how I envisage 2045.
Thank you for the endearing insights, Ashish. It was a great time. I had a great time interacting with you. I hope it was an insightful session for everybody present here. Thank you.
Thank you, Asta ji.